Hey everyone, welcome back to kind of the Long Dark. Today we're going to be doing a tier list of the Long Dark regions and connecting regions. You can see we're on Tier Maker today. I did make this tier list, and we have every single connecting region and main region to go through. We're going to go through it based on just some facts, spawn locations, how easy it is to get to the region, and locations around the region and stuff like that. Now, I will say, personal preference is going to have a little bit of an impact on some of these regions and where they rank in the tier list. Obviously, based on my personal opinion, my experiences with the region, and yeah, hopefully this helps some of you new players out there, maybe who want to learn a little bit more about each region, what they have to offer. I'll probably be making a tips and tricks video coming soon, where we'll go over that stuff a little bit more in depth. But as I said, this is a tier list. So without any further talking, let's get right into it. So first we have Ash Canyon. I gotta say, I won't beat around the bush for this one. I'll just say it straight up. Ash Canyon is by far one of my favorite regions in the game. I would not recommend playing it if you are a new kind of player trying to get used to the Long Dark, as it has a lot of twists and turns. But I think the destination, kind of the lore, if you will, around Ash Canyon, being so far out of the way, having to travel a lot to get there, it just makes it so worth it, in my opinion. And the destinations there are pretty incredible. So this is going to go into favorite. If it wasn't my favorite, I would probably put it at not bad just because, like I said, it is a little bit hard to get to, and for new players, I would not recommend starting there. I know it is an interloper spawn, so that is something to think about. But for now, yes, Ash Canyon is in the favorite category. Next here, it seems we have Blackrock. Now, I won't beat around the bush for this one either. Blackrock is definitely one of my least favorite regions. I don't really see a use going there. Think the one kind of main item the game wants you to go there for is the ballistic vest, but in my opinion, it's just really not worth it as there's other things you can put in your accessory slot besides the vest. And the vest is heavy. It's like 13 pounds. So definitely not worth it in my opinion. And BlackRock as a whole is just kind of bad. Timberwolves everywhere. It's definitely out of the way. You either have to go through both Keeper's Passes or you have to go up to Timberwolf Mountain and then cut left to get into the cave. So Blackrock is going to be an absolutely not. Just the fact that it has Timberwolves alone just kind of puts it down on the list. And the fact that it's kind of out of the way and there's really no reason to go there really kind of solidifies it as absolutely not. Next here on the list, we have Bleak Inlet. Now, Bleak Inlet, like I said with Blackrock, Timberwolves usually make the region not fun. It's a little stressful to navigate the region when there's Timberwolves. But I will say Bleak Inlet is definitely one I like. I do like Bleak Inlet. The map layout with the cannery, the broken lighthouse you can see in the picture here, and the cannery residence, as well as some bears nearby that you can kill and some easy Timberwolf packs you can take down as well. It really does make the region a nice experience once you get a foothold in the door. I definitely wouldn't write it off as an absolutely not. I'm probably going to put Bleak Inlet as not bad. This is going to be a pretty hot take, but the scenery in Bleak Inlet is, I think, incredible. And it's relatively easy to get to. You can go through Forlorn Muskeg or go through the ravine on the bottom there on the Ravine Basin and go up that way towards the Pensive Outlook. So Bleak Inlet is going to be a not bad in my kind of category here. Next, it seems we have Broken Railroad. Broken Railroad, I will say, used to be kind of that region on the left part of the world map that nobody ever really went to. It was so out of the way, not a real reason to go there. The hunting lodge is great. Maintenance shed, if you want to die by wolves, go there for sure. But, it used to be kind of out of the way. Now it's still a little out of the way, but at least now there's the far range branch line and the far territory you can get to through Broken Railroad. Personally, I do like Broken Railroad. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I would definitely recommend it to, I would say, intermediate players who are looking for a little bit of a challenge, but also kind of want to have the loot aspect of the region. So I'm going to put Broken Railroad at not bad. The experiences I've had with it, pretty good. I've had some pretty lame experiences, but I would say more good than bad. So I'm just going to put it at not bad for now. Next here we have Coastal Highway. Now, Coastal Highway is an interesting one. Coastal Highway is very easy to get to. It connects to three other regions: Pleasant Valley, Mystery Lake, and Desolation Point. Coastal Highway has a lot of things for new players. It's a great spawn. The ice on Coastal Highway really allows you to see what's coming and see all the dangers around you. It's a really nice region. It's laid out very nicely. The points of interest are very good as well. Beautiful scenery. Coastal Highway is going to go at good. It's gonna go good. It's been a classic region, I think, in the Long Dark for a long time, and definitely so. If you're a new player, I would definitely recommend Coastal Highway. A lot of easy points to get to, a lot of easy loot to be had, and you can see dangers coming from a good distance if you're on the ice. If you're inland on Coastal Highway in the woods, that's a little bit of a different story, but it's still pretty manageable once you get to know the region a little bit. All right, next on the list we have Desolation Point, an absolute classic. I will say about Desolation Point, I have played it probably more than any other region on this list. I know it kind of like the back of my hand, and I will say Desolation Point is a fairly good region. The only limiting factor I would say is that it's very small and it has a lot of wildlife in that kind of small region, that small containment, if you will. It's a good region. I do recommend it for starters. Just be careful, the wildlife and stuff. But again, there's wide open ice, just like in Coastal Highway. You can really see what's coming, and there's a lot of easy to get to places in the region as well. So Desolation Point, I'm going to go and put that up with Coastal Highway. That is going to be a good region. I highly recommend it if you are getting started on the game and want a nice, easy region to kind of relax in. Desolation Point would be that. All right, next here, we're kind of getting into DLC content here. The Far Range Branch Line. This is a connecting region that connects Broken Railroad to the transfer hub, I believe, or transfer pass, one of those. But it is definitely a interesting region. I remember first exploring it in one of the series I did. It's definitely laid out pretty interestingly. But I do like the layout, and I believe there's a few wolves in the region, but other than that, it is a pretty easy time. So I'm going to put the Far Range Branch Line at not bad. It's obviously not a region you would really stay in. It's just kind of a connecting region. But even for a connecting region, there's definitely worse, like Crumbling Highway, which we'll get to. But it's not bad. It's not bad. If you have to go there, of course, go. It's your only ticket to the Far Territory, so you'll get to experience it firsthand. All right. Next here we have Forsaken Airfield, deeper into the Fire Territory. Forsaken Airfield is good. You can see just by the thumbnail here of the picture, there's a large, wide open field that you can really just see what's coming. It's pretty self-explanatory, actually. The points of interest, I will say, are a little hard to get to, and this region is cold. That's the one thing I do remember from exploring it in Stalker mode. It was cold all the time, and the glimmer fog is not very helpful when you're trying to sleep, I will say. It can get pretty annoying at times. But other than the weather kind of being annoying, it is such a nice region though. But I wouldn't say it's my favorite. I would actually probably put this at if I have to. That might be a little bit of a hot take as well, but I haven't had great experiences with that region so far. That could change. We're doing a 500 days in the dark challenge, so we're about to hit the far territory. So if that changes, maybe I'll move it up to something like not bad or even good. But for now, it's going to go if I have to. Not a real reason to go there right now for me, maybe except for the shortwave radio, but that's really about it. I would not normally go here if I had the choice. All right, next it looks like we have, I want to say that's Hushed River Valley. Yes, it is. All right, Hushed River Valley. I'll try not to beat around the bush again with this one. Hushed River Valley is definitely not my favorite, but it's definitely not the worst region. Hushed River Valley is very cold. It's very brutal. There's no man-made structures in the region. It is an interloper spawn, but that is really all I would go there for if I got spawned there. I would immediately try to get out and go to Mountain Town. It's a harsh region, but the scenery is just unmatched like any other region in this game. I mean, it's a river valley. You have rainbows above the waterfalls. It's really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I would say the beauty of this region is probably what's saving it from being an absolutely not. So Hushed River Valley is going to go if I have to. If I have to, kind of being if I just spawn there, I'm just going to try to get out as quickly as I can. The views do really make it worth it. There's no real reason to go there in Interloper, but in Stalker mode, there is an off chance for a Moosehide Satchel to spawn, maybe hanging on one of the trees there. That would probably be the only reason why I go there. All right, next it looks like we have Keeper's Pass North. Now I have to say, Keeper's Pass North is pretty interesting. It's full of tight crevices, and then there's broken down hut once you start getting closer to the Keeper's Pass South entrance. It's a pretty unique region, something we definitely haven't seen before in the Long Dark, as well as Builder's Bridge, I believe it's called. Keeper's Pass North is probably going to be a not bad for myself. There is a place to stay, and there's a transition cave you can get into. But other than that, it is pretty isolated. I'm almost tempted to move it down to if I have to, but I'm going to keep it at not bad. I haven't had any bad experiences with it yet, so I think not bad is a great place to leave it. All right, next we have its counterpart, Keeper's Pass South. Now, I will say Keeper's Pass South, right off the bat, it's going to get a not bad as well. There's more to do in Keeper's Pass South for sure. There's wolves and such you can hunt. There's actually even a fishing hut down near the waterfall under the bridge, which is pretty cool. That's one of the few regions that has a fishing hut. But other than that, it's just another transition region to get to Blackrock if you're coming from Pleasant Valley, or to get to Pleasant Valley if you're coming from Blackrock. No real reason to go there unless you're commuting from the two. It is a not bad. I would be tempted to put it at good, but I think I'm just going to leave it at not bad. I have had a few bad experiences, but I've had a few good experiences as well. I would say definitely probably for intermediate players, this region is, or connecting region rather, since there is a lot of wolves in such a small area. But other than that, it's a real cool region. It's pretty neat. I do like it. All right, next we have an absolute classic here, Milton, or Mountain Town, I should say, as the region is called. Mountain Town is a great region. There is a lot of wildlife, such as wolves and stuff, that will try to intervene on those exploration missions, but I will say Mountain Town is just full of loot. It's full of loot. And the scenery in this region is unmatched in the Long Dark. You literally have a huge basin looking out you can look over. It's quite unbelievable at sunset as well. This and Hush River Valley, I would say, have probably some of the best views in the game, definitely by far. So Mountain Town is going to go good for me. Really tempting to put it at favorite, but I would say that good is probably good, you know? Haven't had any great experiences there, but haven't had any bad experiences, or at least not too much as I've had good. So that's going to stay at good for now. Definitely would recommend probably easy to intermediate level. So if you want to spawn there, take your time, get through Milton. There's a lot of loot there, but definitely a place worth checking out in your run. All right, next we have Mystery Lake. Mystery Lake is an absolute classic. I'm just gonna have to go right away, put this at favorite. Mystery Lake has been kind of that friend next to me in the long dark journey. It's always a region you can lean back on, I should say. It's always there. Once you start learning the map, Mystery Lake is a very easy region. I would say if you spawn there and you're new to the game, I would say stay in Mystery Lake, learn the map. That way you have a region to fall back on in case you get chased out or something from the muskeg. But definitely worth it. It's that region you're going to want to stay in for sure. All right. Next, we have Pleasant Valley. Pleasant Valley. This region definitely a little challenging. Definitely a little challenging. It's one of those regions where you have to learn it in order for it to be easy. I would right now just put this at probably intermediate level, probably leaning towards hard. A lot of twists and turns in Pleasant Valley, and if a blizzard kicks in, you are going to be lost. Even I get lost sometimes. After having a few thousand hours in the game, I still get lost in Pleasant Valley sometimes. So it's definitely a huge region as well. A few iconic locations, such as the barn you can see there and the Pleasant Valley Farmstead, both are great loot locations, as well as Thompson's Crossing. So those are awesome. I would definitely hit up Pleasant Valley, especially because it connects to so many regions. You got Mystery Lake, you got Keeper's Pass South, Timberwolf Mountain, and Coastal Highway. So definitely a anchor point, if you will, for a base. Pleasant Valley for me is going to go into good. It's not a favorite just because it has that getting lost factor. And I've had a few bad experiences with it as well, but overall it is definitely a good region, and I would recommend if you are in a survival run. All right, next we have a really brutal transition region here. It gets me kind of mad just talking about it because I've had so many bad experiences here. Crumbling Highway. Crumbling Highway is probably the worst transition region in the Long Dark, in my opinion. Wolves are everywhere. for how tiny the region is. The region has little to no loot, so you can't really do anything while you're in the region. Usually, when I'm in the region, I just look forward to getting back into Coastal Highway or Desolation Point. It is a place of despair. All the trees, the leaves are gone. It's definitely a depressing place if you stay there for too long. And it's just not really fun to be there. So I'm gonna put Crumbling Highway at, and if I have to. I'm only gonna put it there because you have to go through it if you wanna get to Desolation Point or Coastal Highway from either side. You have to go through this. It's possible. I would take the route probably out on the ice so you can see what you're doing, but if it was out of the way like Blackrock, I would 100% put this in absolutely not. It's just a horrible region. I don't recommend it at all. All right. Next here we have Timberwolf Mountain. It's definitely a really, really, really great region. This is probably going to go up towards it's a debate between favorite or good. I think I'm going to put it at favorite. I'll leave it at favorite. Timberwolf Mountain has been really a sanctuary for me and my runs over the past few years. It's a region I'm super comfortable with. I've had good and bad experiences, but the good severely outweighs the bad. And obviously, there's really good loot. Once you summit the top, it is a very rewarding experience. You get an overlook of the region, and plus Timberwolf Mountain connects to not that I would ever go to Blackrock, but it connects to Blackrock, Pleasant Valley, and Ash Canyon. So there's a little movement there if you want to traverse the upper regions of the Long Dark. But it is definitely a great region to get started in. I would put this region at intermediate. It's not easy, but if you spawn there, you can always just go down to Pleasant Valley and try to get some loot down there. So it's definitely a great region, and I would highly recommend it since it is one of my favorite regions. All right, next on the list here we have Transfer Pass. Now, Transfer Pass, I haven't spent a lot of time in, but of the time I have spent in there, it hasn't been too bad. So this is going to go not bad. No vicious wildlife that I've found in my runs so far. Maybe I just got insanely lucky, but I have seen rabbits, deer, and that's about it. In my stalker run, I did find a bearskin bedroll, so that really just kind of makes it not bad. I would recommend this region. Obviously, I don't think it's a region you can spawn in unless you manually decide to spawn in there. It is a bit of a hike from Broken Railroad and Forsaken Airfield. It's a bit of a hike, but I would definitely say if you have the resources, spend some time in this region. It's definitely rewarding, and I believe a mine region is coming soon, so this will be connecting to even more regions than it is now. So Transfer Pass, I'll have to give it a not bad, as it's really just not a bad stay once you're there. And next here on the list, we have Ravine. Now, I won't spend too much time on Ravine. It's basically just a transition region. You just go through it from Mystery Lake to Coastal Highway. Pretty easy to access. Connects to three regions, actually. Mystery Lake, Coastal Highway, and if you go down to the Ravine Basin, it connects to Bleak Inlet. This region is great. There's no hostile wildlife, all rabbits and deer. A few caves you can spend the night in, and beautiful scenery at that. So quickly here, I'm just going to put Ravine at good. It is definitely a great place to spend a few nights, maybe a few days, but do beware the weather does change and you can get caught off guard in Ravine quite easily. But this is definitely a great region to be in. All right, now I do have to say we're forgetting one main region. Can you guess what it is? If you said Forlorn Muskeg, you are right. I forgot Forlorn Muskeg somehow, so I'll have to add that in here. But Forlorn Muskeg, I would probably go ahead and put that at a good. Forlorn Muskeg is probably one of the regions that you can really see what's coming at you because the whole Muskeg is just flat. There's a few iconic structures, but the thing with the structures is they're not all inside. In fact, they're all outside structures. It is a fantastic region for losing cabin fever. If you have cabin fever, go stay at Old Family or the Old Spence Family Homestead, rather. It's a great spot. I would highly recommend. The wolves can get a little annoying, but I would say just kind of the scenery and what the region has to offer kind of outweighs the wolves pretty heavily. So I would probably put Forlorn Muskeg here at good because it is just that. It's a good region. It's not my favorite. It's not bad. It's good. All right, and there we have it. All the regions, I believe, in the Long Dark and the connecting regions as well. Now, like I said, if you guys want to play this, make your own tier list. I would highly encourage you to do so. Maybe if you're trying to figure out where you want to start spawning, where you want to get comfortable with, I would definitely do this. This is a tier maker I made myself. So if you just type this in the Long Dark regions and connections tier list on tier maker, you should be able to find it and you should be able to play along. Now, just keep in mind, Forlorn Muskeg is not on here. I will probably go add that in eventually. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. It's a little bit different, but hopefully this helped you if you're looking for some insight on what regions are the best. And in my opinion as well, just thrown in there. Not that it matters, but it is a tier list. So if you guys made it this far, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in the next episode.